tour today because I'm going to get to look at the final images from the photo shoot and learn all about the editorial process at VOGUE Hong Kong. Let's go.
Also on Frontline Fashion, we meet finalist Liu Feng and hear about the inspiration behind her very personal collection. And all 10 designers get a taste for the challenges facing fashion industry leaders as they lead the charge for a brighter future.
So we have the shoot from Redress. They looked very special because this time they are posing a real model with a virtual one. I think the visual is quite strong, so I really want the shoot to speak for itself. How do you like the shoot?
It looks really cool. I didn't realize that it was like a digital person at first. When yeah.
More amazing is how they do the fabric, because the texture, the softness, how it flows, it's really hard to imitate actually.
Everyone's just so different and has such a different story and different approach to sustainability.
This one is really eye-catching. It's so dramatic and grab your attention.
So which one will be the opening photo?
For the moment we are leading with this one. It has a very strong symmetrical composition. I also love it has a bit of a gender fluidity to it.
Which one do you think your grand finale might be?
My grand finale. I love these two shots a lot because the silhouettes, it's eye-catchy. So I think ending the story with these, will leave a strong impact.
You say that Vogue's been getting more into sustainability?
Definitely we are. We actually annually do at least one issue that's dedicated to sustainability, and we interview designers, manufacturers around the world about the new inventions that helps the industry to be more sustainable, or like new talents doing their brands in a more sustainable way.
What I've begun to realize is that for the fashion industry to change, it takes all of us to play a role. From the designers and manufacturers to media and influencers and consumers. Even just small things we do can have a huge impact. And though it may seem daunting, I think it's also really exciting, especially when you talk to people from different areas in the industry that are so passionate to make a change. For finalist Liu Feng, having parents who run a garment factory made her journey to sustainability a very personal one. Liu utilizes denim deadstock for her collection Left Behind Children.
In the research of this story, I feel that I have connections with it. Because my family has a garment factory. I grew up with my grandparents when I was a kid. So this is the inspiration about the Left Behind Children collection. What this group designs most is a hug. And many of their clothes come from older brothers and sisters, or piece of clothing that can be worn for a long time, from larger to smaller. Since my home is a garment factory, it has a lot of fabric not needed anymore. Therefore, I will use this fabric to let them to see the sunshine again. And at the same time, some clothing of this collection come from Left Behind Children. And the clothing are one of our main consumptions. So we need to optimize the industry.
The global fashion industry is a super powerhouse that's estimated to be worth $2.5 trillion every single year. So we can't deny its global influence. And yet it is riddled with serious environmental issues that require urgent change. So today we're throwing the designers into the deep end on a number of challenges that will bring their ideas to the forefront and also test which of our finalists are thinking big picture. Hello everyone, all around the world. We're about to start the Icebreaker Move to Natural Challenge. And it's the first of your challenges within the Redress Design Award 2021 Grand Final activities.
Today we've tasked our contestants with the challenge of designing a 100% natural hoodie to support Icebreaker's ambition to eliminate petrosynthetic chemicals. They need to consider our brand purpose, our brand architecture, and most importantly, think about potential waste hotspots in our supply chain.
We've been challenging the status quo from the birth of the brands, and we are really looking forward to see all these creative minds coming together and come up with a challenging status quo concept that will drive the change.
You're going to have each team 1 hour to think and brainstorm.
We're very excited to see what everybody comes up with today.
Well, let's go and check them out then.
We want the whole garment to be sustainable, and if we are adding like hardware pieces onto it, how can we reduce the environmental impact from that? It makes us like really think about the whole process of designs, the whole circular process.
I was thinking to have the hoodie start at the very end of the cycle where it's made from recycled merino wool. If that's not a possibility, then I would think about I'm sorry, I'm a little frazzled.
This is hard, Pam.
Yeah, this is hard. We had such a short amount of time. It was quite hard to put all ideas into like a presentation.
There must be some waste in the garment making process. So maybe we can use those scraps to design a whole new hoodie.
That would be quite interesting, I would say. To create from the kind of pieces, patchwork, from different offcuts and colors. And I think it's very scalable as well.
The original challenge was design a 100% natural fiber hoodie, which I feel like is not what we've been talking about.
So we're going to have Team A present to us their pitches. Good luck.
We decided that we wanted to create a hoodie with zero waste cotton cutting.
It's completely 100% merino wool. And then the QR code where we're actually educating all the customers on what the backstory of the hoodie actually is.
I think it's a very clever idea.
They were each brilliant ideas, but I would have preferred for you to have worked through into much more detail.
We're going to move on with Team B.
We want to create a seasonally limited edition 2-layer hoodie from waste material, and also creating a sleeping bag that is insulated with excess scrap apparel and materials. This is going hand in hand with a youth outreach hiking club.
The design process was incredible. I've never come up with such a intense process and system that I really felt like I understood in such a short amount of time.
We thought that was great that you wanted to engage with the younger generations and that you had a way to sort of empower consumers.
We thought it was a bit complex in terms of consumer journey to go from the hoodie to the sleeping bags, being a product that we currently don't have in our range.
Now, Team C.
We are planning to do the hoodie made from quality yarns and using the zero waste knitting techniques.
It would definitely be possibility to recycle and then to use the offcuts and fabric waste and faulty fabrics to create extra functional pockets and patchwork.
Everyone's story will be different and it will be totally your own unique piece.
From my side, I really liked the simplicity or the clarity of the waste sources that you were addressing.
In terms of inclusion and diversity, being a global brand, looking at different nationalities, different languages, to make sure that actually the concept of the patches is understandable. So first of all, well done to all. It's been a huge effort and all the ideas were brilliant. But the winner is the Team C. It was really a sharp, concrete concept that we see as feasible in terms of that holistic vision that you had from the consumer to the product. What we really liked also in your perception was bringing the personalization in the hand of the consumer and not putting it on the weight of the supply chain.
It's really inspiring and definitely make us braver. So we are all proud of what we have done.
Well done.
Welcome to today's Digital Zero Waste Challenge with TAL and Browzwear. We want you to really understand how and why it's so important that you become masters at digital design.
In TL, last year we produced 3,000 samples digitally, equivalent to almost 8 million liters of water that we saved. So you see the amount of waste which is at stake just by adopting digital sampling is huge. On top of that, it also saves cost. And with COVID, etc., everybody saw their margin shrinking drastically, the customers as well as manufacturers.
With digital, the capability of it is to train. And it's not just about learning a tool. It's about knowing that every design that you make has so much impact.
Over the next 48 hours, our finalists will have the guidance of experts as they design a zero-waste digital pattern using Browzwear with dead stock fabric from COVID-related cancelled orders. They must design a luxury everyday wear piece that is producible in a factory in standard minute value, or SMV, of 30 minutes or less.
We had an idea where we wanted to use only square or rectangular patterns, but in the past, when I have tried to do that with small-scale manufacturers, they always find it a little more difficult than conventional patterns.
I think it will be difficult for them to get used to, but I don't think it's too complicated that it cannot be done.
In terms of pattern drawing, is it something that you can work on whilst creating the pattern in a more experimental way?
I prefer to work more visually than in numbers.
Yeah, me too.
I was creating the pattern. At some point I even had a little cry because I thought I'm not gonna make it completely zero waste. It was really difficult.
Moment of truth. Oh, okay, I missed the shoulder line. That's fine.
I am just working on the finishing touches of the design. Fabulous.
It's currently 4 a.m. exactly.
It's almost 11 o'clock in New York City. The redress competition has really been taking a toll on my skin.
We're just going to jump right in with the pitches. So Team A.
Our concept is going back to our roots because zero-waste pattern making was already a way of making clothes initially. Using geometrical cuts and square and rectangular patterns, we can achieve zero-waste pattern as well as manufacturing can be simplified.
It was very important to maximize the use of the dead stock fabric. It could be worn as a top, kimono, shirts, dress, and jacket.
We can see from the 3D model that the garment has a very effortless and smart fit, which is what we wanted for our luxury targeted consumers.
Team A, the SMV that we calculated in one of our factory is 26 minutes, which is interesting because it means that they really leverage the time they had. They managed to do something which is quite luxurious.
I like how you did your iterations. Commendable effort. I love your application.
Team B, are you ready to pitch?
Funny enough, we actually have similar concepts to Team A because zero-waste pattern cutting has been so intertwined into traditional approaches, and we thought it was so important to really celebrate that.
We can apply our designs to different body types.
The main adjustment is the width of the bodice and the sleeve length.
It was so innovative, and your SMV is 18.7 minutes. So arguably you may not have used as much production time as you could have, and you could have potentially made your garment looking even better. And I think it's important because in your future job as a head designer, you'll be constrained by cost. Therefore, having an idea of how much the complexity of a garment will impact the price through the SMVs is an integral part of your role in the future.
Well, I like how you guys pull out all the different avatars and played around with sizes of bodies.
It is quite inspiring, your way of using the pattern.
Very well done. Thank you. Of course, there is only one team who is the winner.
The winner is Team A. They address the luxury market quite well, so they really make use of the 30 minutes SMV to create a sophisticated design. Also, it's wearable, so it's commercially viable. And in terms of the rendering, you were able to create more details and finishing. So congratulations.
Very exciting. I'm so proud of myself and my team.
Congratulations to all of you. Thank you all so much.
Next time on Frontline Fashion.
It's judging day. Our finalists prepare for some tough questions as their collections are scrutinized.
And Denise comes over before the grand final to help style our picks from the warehouse trip.